So long. Okay, so this is 6-1, the beginning section on blood. So it's chapter 17 if you need to find it in your book anywhere. Okay, hi cat. So here we go. Blood. When you take blood out of your arm, blood is usually it looks like just a single component, just looks like blood, but there's actually lots of stuff inside. Blood is a connective tissue because it does contain cells and ground substance and fibers and all that good stuff. And so they consider it a connective tissue. The only other liquid connective tissue is lymph. There's two main components to blood. There is the non-living portion, which is the plasma, which contains a lot of water and proteins and nutrients. And then we have the cellular parts, which are the formed elements like white and red blood cells. So there's two halves, living and non-living parts. And then just like in every connective tissue, there's fibers that are made out of it. And so the fibers that we see in our blood only show up during clotting. Any other time we will not see it. Okay, in a centrifuge, if you were to take whole blood and spin it around really, really fast, all the heavy parts are going to go down to the bottom and the light parts are going to go to the top. And what we end up seeing is three distinct layers, and what are resulting layers we refer to as a hematocrit. So that's this word right here. A hematocrit is a measurement of the percentages of different proportions of the blood components. So it tells us how much plasma, the top layer, how much white blood cells and platelets, the middle layer, and how many red blood cells, the bottom layer that we have. And so you can tell a lot by looking at the hematocrit by whether or not they're dehydrated, whether they have too many white blood cells, and so on. So in the bottom layer, like I said, we have RBCs, or red blood cells, otherwise known as erythrocyte, which means red cell. And they're dense and thick and heavy, so they go down to the bottom, and that's because they're the most numerous. The Buffy coat in the middle contains leukocytes, or white blood cells, because leuko means white, and platelets, but that's about less than 1% of your total blood. And then the top layer, that's your plasma, least dense layer, mostly contains water, but there's also dissolved solutes and oxygens and nutrients and waste products and enzymes and hormones and everything else that needs to be delivered through your body. Blood, if you look at it outside of the body, is typically a bit on the sticky side. It's opaque, which means you can't see through it, and it has a slightly metallic taste. That's due to the iron that's found in the blood. Color of blood varies from scarlet, which is a really bright, almost orange red if it's full of oxygen, to a very dark, almost brick red if it does not have oxygen. The blood is slightly alkaline or slightly basic. It's like I'm going to get it wrong, 7.15 or something like that. So we're just talking slightly. And then about 8% of your body weight is blood. So if you take your weight and multiply by 0.08, that'll tell you how much of your poundage you can blame on blood. We usually have anywhere between 4 to 6 liters. Average is 5.5. And so here's 3 liters of soda for you on the side for you to get an idea, a visual about how much blood you have. There's 3 main functions of blood, and they all work to maintain homeostasis. One of them is distribution or delivery. And distribution, this little picture down here of the bus, we can see some of the things it has to do. It's got to take oxygen from our lungs to our body. It's got to take carbon dioxide from the cells back to the lungs. It's got to take the food that we eat, the nutrients, and deliver it to every cell for it to feed our body. All the metabolic waste, leftovers from metabolism, need to be taken out so it doesn't poison ourselves. Hormones that reproduce in our brain but need to go somewhere else go through the blood, and it also helps to distribute heat. Regulation of body functions, so that would be this one, this little happy dude right here. That's another function of blood, is for regulation, to keep you just right. So it helps to regulate your body temperature and maintain you at 98.6. Helps to buffer the blood's pH so it doesn't get too acidic or too basic. And also helps to maintain the proper volume of blood so that way you don't have too much or not enough blood or liquid inside of you. Third thing, this little guy right here, you can see is protection. It protects us from infection in the form of white blood cells and macrophages. And then we also have, we also have prevention of blood loss by, wait for it, there it is, clotting. And so, sorry, it was covering up the word. And so this guy helps to clot your blood so that way you don't constantly bleed out every time you cut yourself. Okay, so there you go. Kaylee, you can now feel better now that the notes are there for you. And we will talk more about red blood cells tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.